I love you.
Have you ever been sitting on your couch, potatoes, and thinking, these fuckers just talk movies and there's so many TV shows out there and I just want to know which TV show to watch?
Well, I never sit on my potatoes.
Oh.
But...
well, I'm the Green Traveler.
I have wondered since day one, like... I'm the Faceless Leon. I missed to say it, so...
I snuck it in there.
This is Green and Faceless on the Couch. It's a podcast about movies and TV. And we've kind of been advertising it that way since the beginning. But now we're actually going to talk about some TV.
So a little backstory in our lives. Even though I love some TV shows and really enjoy the television experience, I do not watch television like ever. I have to have people to watch it with. It's other people's what's it called? Binge watching attitude that gets me through TV shows.
Right.
I don't have that. Yeah, I don't have that binge watch attitude.
Right. I like to watch TV. I've always liked to watch TV. I mean, when I was younger, it was more about watching movies, mostly because, honestly, I did not understand TV scheduling so well when I was younger. Like, because when we were younger, you had to catch it when it was airing.
See, I like that too, because that's what kept me interested in TV, was like I had to set aside a moment in my schedule. You know, it's like Lost comes on next week. I have to watch the next episode of Lost. I can't binge watch it unless I'm watching with people, though, and that's what television's become. For
me, since we're talking backstories, I grew up in two households, divorced parents, and I was allowed to, you know, and when my housework and homework was done, I was allowed to watch what TV I wanted as long as they thought it was age appropriate. At one household, and at the other household, we weren't really allowed to watch TV unless we're all watching it together. And since our schedules varied, like I wasn't really over at one of the houses every Tuesday. I was at either other house every Tuesday. So things would, as they do, air once a week.
Yeah.
And it makes it impossible to stay current on a show
I bet.
when you're like that. But years later,
and nowadays,
years
with
later,
all of our streaming opportunities,
streaming made it very possible for me to watch what TV I wanted and to find out what I was missing from those childhood shows. Like, oh man, so many plot points that I just didn't get to watch. I'm not going to, you know, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not pointing any fingers or anything. I also me and my mom eventually got into watching, like, renting DVDs from the movie store and watching TV shows together. That was nice.
I can blast through television with somebody.
Right.
But by myself, like, I feel like it was kind of just a mentality I got to in college, where, because I was binge watching like How I Met Your Mother in college and other shows like that. I just realized I'm wasting so much of my free time doing this, and so I just stopped doing it. And now I just can't watch it. Like, I don't know why, but now my brain just, like, if I go through 2 episodes of a TV show, my brain's like, all right, man, get up and take a walk, like, get out of here.
Well, that's probably healthy.
Probably, but it makes doing a show like this, where we have a segment called TV Talks. Yeah. You'll find, Couch Potatoes, that TV Talks will probably be one of our least produced shows.
Yeah.
And it's all my fault. You can blame me for it. I'm very difficult to get through a television show.
I watch an inordinate amount.
I was gonna say you had to tell me like for a year to watch Penny Dreadful before I finally watched Penny Dreadful.
Right.
And then I watched it in like 2 days.
Oh yeah. Oh, so you must have liked it.
I liked it.
The first part's much better.
I liked it, but it ends way too early, and it's only because they kill off one character and are like, well, that's it.
That's it.
And it's like that's fair. I mean, it's fair because those 3 seasons have been that character's story.
Right.
But at the same time, you have established many other characters. You can go at least one more season with their stories.
Yeah.
Because they did not get endings at all.
No, they did not. And they kept on talking about bringing that one back too, but I don't think they're going
but
to.
instead we're getting Dexter season 9.
Yeah, what is up with that? Well, we're not talking about either of those shows.
Nope.
We're talking about one that has had its second season this year and its first season last year, The Umbrella Academy.
But you and I both caught up with it this year, I think, right? You didn't watch it last year.
No, I did watch it last year. But
you did?
I rewatched it this year to know what happened to watch the second season.
Yeah, I had never watched it, never read the stories until just 2 months ago. That is also a point that we should make. I don't think either of us has seen season 1 for 2 months, so it's a little
it's been a
little
while.
stale. The reason for that is the show we were originally planning to open up TV Talks with, I am taking a 3-hour turn getting through. We'll get there. Yeah. But we both have seen season 1 of Umbrella Academy, and it being season 2 being more recent, we thought might as well talk about it. It's definitely a fun show, and we've got a lot to say, I'm sure.
Yeah, I definitely think people should definitely give this show a shot. I will go ahead and say that up front.
Agreed.
If it's a superhero show, but it's not a superhero show for your kids. And I feel like parents...
they can watch it.
Huh? You think they can watch it?
They can watch it.
I think some kids definitely would be okay with watching it, but there's
kids are incorruptible.
There's definitely some themes that some parents will not approve of their children watching. Mostly the drug references, I would say, for one.
But Klaus is the best.
Particular. Klaus is the best. I do love his story so much.
Yeah.
But
we'll get into the family.
We will get into the family. I will say, though, it is definitely more a show for superhero fans who like gritty superhero stories.
It makes me want to watch The Boys. I haven't seen that yet either.
I did watch the first season of that. I haven't watched the second season, which just came out.
I've seen episode 1 of the first season. I was like, I should watch this.
That show brings the gritty part to the max.
Yeah, well, we're a year after I've seen episode 1, and I still haven't watched it, and yet I'm still as intrigued by it as ever before.
Yes, yeah, it is. I think a really good show. The social commentary in that show is on point as well, which it is here in the Umbrella Academy, also. So I guess maybe we should give a synopsis. I'll go ahead if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
So, The Umbrella Academy.
Netflix original.
A Netflix original based off of comic books, as most superhero stories are.
Yes.
And it features the story... What's that?
Should we say that the comic book is from Gerard Way of My Chemical Romance?
Yes, we should say that.
I had the fortune to borrow the first volume of that, and I still have to return it. I'm terrible at that kind of stuff sometimes. But it's by Gerard Way of My Chemical Romance. It's what he wanted to do before he started My Chemical Romance. He wanted to do comic books. And so here we are now with his vision coming to television.
Happy he did.
Yeah,
I will say.
And the artwork is by Gabriel Ba. At least the first volume is, and that's what most of the season 1 takes from. I would say volume 1, maybe volume 2. I haven't read that.
Okay,
but
cool.
Yeah.
Well, it features seven, yes, seven characters that were all mysteriously born on the same day and then adopted by this eccentric billionaire by the last name of it's Sir Reginald Hargraves, and he raises them to be, well, I would say raise is a generous term. He trains
rears
them. Yes, he trains them from birth practically to be a crime-stopping team.
Yeah, they're more raised by a robot mother and an monkey butler.
Oh, he's a chimp.
Sorry, chimpanzee butler. My racism.
Yes, Pongo. Honestly, I really like Pongo's character. Pogo. You first call him a monkey, and then I give him the wrong name. Anyways, I think Pogo is pretty great. He was
in the first season. First season's done by Adam Godley.
Yeah, that's right. And he does a very good job of making this chimp seem like a wise fatherly figure.
Yeah, it's not Adam Serkis level of
no, but
or Andy Serkis level of performance.
But he's also playing a much more humanized character than while Gollum is a
well, I was thinking Planet of the Apes specifically.
Planet of the Apes, that's true. Caesar is much more ape-like still.
Yeah.
Than Pogo is. But anyways, the seven children, he initially just names them in the numerical order that he has decided that they will live by. And
that's his character in a nutshell there.
That is
doesn't give the kids names, he gives them numbers.
That's right. So number one, who takes on the name Luther, I believe, I don't know if it's mentioned in the story, but their mother, the robotic nurse maid, gives them names eventually. And he takes on the name Luther, and he is super strong. That is his
played
power.
Played by Tom Hopper.
Tom Hopper. And I think really all of the cast, all the Hargraves, do a pretty great bang-up job, I'd say.
Agreed. Their chemistry is really well together.
Yeah.
They're
so
My
too.
My Chemical family is lovely.
They play, yes, their chemistry is great for a greatly dysfunctional family.
Yeah, because they don't
know how to get along.
Yeah, they don't know how to get along. There is underneath it all a binding love,
right?
But it's very strained binding. It's very frayed, very tattered. They're all at each other's wits' end.
Yes, sometimes at each other's throats.
Yes.
So then there is number two, Diego. His power is that he can control projectiles that he has thrown. So he carries around a bunch of knives. I don't know if he's necessarily super agile, but he is also the best fighter of the group.
Yeah, I feel like that's just his training experience.
Yeah, I believe so too.
He's played by David Castaneda.
Yes, and I'm not sure if it's David. It might be David. But,
it might be David. Yeah.
But so apologies for that. But anyways, also fabulous job. Love his storyline.
Yeah.
So then I guess we'll move on to number three, who is Allison, Emma Raver Lampman.
Lampman.
She does a great job as well. They call her power rumor, but it's really just kind of a phrase that she uses to trigger it, which she can. It's like a hypnosis kind of thing.
Yeah, power of suggestion.
Yes, suggestion. Yes, and so she can get out of trouble easily and into a trouble also.
Yeah. And nothing against the actor. not my favorite character. She's my least favorite of the family.
Yeah, she's a little stuck up, and I mean that's definitely. I think it's justified through the character work.
Oh, definitely.
It definitely makes sense.
It's just some of the choices she makes are like my least favorite in the show because it's very, as you said, it's stuck up in a way, because how she spurns some members of the family.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just like, it irritates me.
Like she's the child that got everything they wanted, and mostly because of their power, their ability. And for that reason, she has a superiority complex, I would say.
Yeah.
And to an extent, she's working on it. They're all kind of working on themselves, being separate from the. Oh yeah.
Yeah, their development throughout season 1 is great.
It is. I think it was good in season 2 too, but we'll save that for another time.
I was gonna say I've seen episode 1 of season 2, and to go from how you first meet the family in episode 1 of season 1 to like how they act together in the first 5 minutes of what's going on in season 2 episode 1,
right?
You wouldn't believe it. It's like there's no way that they go from point A to point B, but that's part of the beauty of the show is watching that transformation, that evolution of their family dynamic.
Right. So
Kid 4.
That was Kid 4.
Well, no, that was Kid 3, I think, right?
Oh no, you're right. Yeah, number 4 is Klaus. Robert,
my favorite.
Sheehan. He's great.
Yeah, I love that man. He's
fantastic. He definitely brings a lot of comedy to the show, but also he's the sad clown part. That he is outwardly the most trouble of the group. He's got a major addiction problem.
Yeah, easily the one for me to relate to the most. I play the clown act a lot. Right. So it's like, immediately just kind of attached to this character and just the amount of motion and heart that Robert Sheehan brings to this role.
Right.
Because like
even when he's being sarcastic,
he has the heart. Like in my opinion, he has the most gut wrenching power.
Oh,
which is he can contact the dead.
Yeah.
So he sees. I guess we should skip the next kid and go to number 6.
Sure, yeah. So number
Ben,
6 is Ben. Yeah, Ben Hargraves. Played by Justin H. Min.
Yeah, and Ben is in the present timeline of season 1. Ben is dead, and the only contact is through Klaus because Klaus sees the dead, and it's just his story is Klaus's story is gut wrenching to me, just because like everything he goes through, especially in like near the end of season 1, like his character has the best development, has the best story. I mean, they're all great. Again, it's such a great cast, but like I just love Robert Sheehan. I fell in love with this character.
He is very good, and he definitely gets the shit end of the stick from their supposed father, Reginald, through his methods of training him. Which one major thing, I don't think it's necessarily spoiling to say that when he's a kid, he gets locked in a crypt until he focuses and uses his powers, which I mean is traumatizing.
Yeah, I'm not a Dean Koontz fan. I'm Stephen King all the way, but Dean Koontz has a novel series called the Odd Thomas series.
Okay,
and that's it's a Sixth Sense style. It's like the kid sees the dead. It's one of the most haunting ideas. It's like even M. Night Shyamalan's Sixth Sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you watch that movie knowing what's going on, it's not really that scary, especially with how it ends and how the kid evolves at the end of the movie.
There's some creepy moments in that movie.
but like you can think of, there's definitely more traumatizing things to happen to a kid, but seeing dead loved ones is certainly got to be up there for incredibly traumatizing. I mean, I guess he didn't really have loved ones when he was when Klaus was a kid, but
right,
dead people in general, seeing them coming at you.
Yeah, it'd be the worst.
Yeah, it's
And
a hard power to live with.
I feel like he never really. I mean, it's kind of hard to say from just this first season, but I feel like as a kid, he never really reached any potential that he could have with his powers because they frightened him so much.
Yeah, and that's part of his story in season 1 is overcoming his fear of his own powers.
Right.
And Ben's powers aren't really focused on in season 1 too much.
Not too much, but he does.
There's glimpses
I think
of
we
it.
can mention what it is. As far as I understand, is that he can reach into some other parallel dimension where there are monsters and use them to his advantage. Super. That's also fucked up.
I honestly. Season 1 only, they never explained it. They never really went into it to my knowledge. So I never understood what his power was. I figured I just overlooked it when they explained it, but
yeah, I guess when you see it in the first one, they only show it in shadow at first, and then there is a moment at the end that they show it, but tentacles come out of his chest and he just rip things apart.
It's crazy.
So that then I think we got to jump back to number 5. Number
Agreed.
5, played by Aidan Gallagher, I believe,
and doesn't really have a name throughout season 1.
No, it
other than number 5.
I think I don't know actually, but I think he either. So a major plot point is that he has disappeared when they were younger. He disappeared.
Yes.
And I think either he disappeared before mom gave them names, or he chose not to have a name because he preferred number 5.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
don't remember. I always figured he just left before they were named, but at the same time, he did leave as a young kid still. So
yeah, he might have. I think he might have opted out of getting named because
I'm thinking that
they
too.
were they were like in their preteens when he disappeared.
Yeah, and he disappeared because his power is to skip forward in time.
Right, and space or time.
Yeah.
Or both.
Yeah.
Space and time.
He's got the fun. Yeah, he's got the fun but the most hard challenging power.
Right. And he's cocky. He's a very cocky individual, and I guess we'll talk
because
more
he's so intelligent.
about him. Yes, he's very intelligent. Yes. I think we'll definitely end up talking more about him because he's a major plot point.
And also I would say his story is like second most devastating to Klaus's.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Devastating.
Vanya's pretty close, but
I would say not devastating in the sense to his emotion or his personality. Like Klaus's is very devastating to who he is as a person. Mm-hmm. Just to what what number 5 has to go through is just a crazy hectic challenge that like the other kids don't have to deal with.
Right. Yeah.
There's so much more to his backstory that is just kind of like, damn, that sucks. I'm sorry you went through that.
rest of them just kind of have a falling out while he gets stuck in a situation.
Exactly.
But that brings us to number 7, Vanya, played by Ellen Page. Well, which, I feel like most people who are going to come and see this probably have seen her in something, even if they didn't know they have. She's been in X-Men.
Inception.
Yeah, all sorts of things.
Ariadne and Inception.
Yeah, and she's a very talented actor.
Love her.
Yes, I love Ellen Page as well. And her power is that she is extra, ordinary. Which is kind of a joke about the show.
Yeah, she's the powerless one.
She is the powerless one, and she has to watch from the sidelines as her siblings grow into powerful individuals. And she decides that she's going to be a great violinist.
Yeah, she's in the comic. She's called the White Violin. That's her hero name.
That's her hero name.
It's not really. We won't go into that.
We won't go into that. Anyways, she's kind of the central character, though.
Yeah,
I would argue.
Yeah, she's the easiest one to relate to because she is the one. You know, she's as you said, she's powerless and she's forced to look up to everybody else.
Right. And I feel like you said, a lot of people can relate to that. A lot of people have older siblings or younger. You know, somebody in the family gets more attention from the parents than you at some point.
Plus another easily relatable fact for me and for you, I think, is she has anxiety to the point where she has to take a lot of medication. She's from birth, that her parents have forced her on her father forced her on medication. And it's kind of just made her, close within on herself. She's very hermit-like. She doesn't really have many friends. She doesn't have, she's not really connected to the family at all. A lot of times they have meetings and they kind of exclude her from their meetings.
Right.
She's, she was the one that, she wasn't focused on at all.
No.
So she doesn't really know how to just be.
And even she eventually breaks away from the family and tries to be in the normal world, and she even struggles with that because she did not have a normal childhood, yet she doesn't have these abilities to show for that extraordinary childhood. And so she's just set to struggle in the wind.
Yeah. And the family kind of, doesn't like her either because she wrote a book about them, explaining her experience.
So I just because we didn't mention Sir Reginald is played by Colm Feore, and kind of the impetus for everyone to get back together. I don't think this is spoilers. Once again, no, it's in the pilot. He
tagline of the movie.
Yeah, he passes away, and so they all come home to figure out what happened.
Yeah, because it's a mystery. It's like, did he? Was he killed? Did he just die?
A man like Sir Reginald has to have a lot of enemies. Yeah. So,
and while they're all back together, out from the sky drops number 5 from wherever he has been, from wherever he's disappeared to.
Right.
And I think the only spoiler we should say is that number 5 comes back and says, "Hey guys, the apocalypse is so many number of days away, and we have to stop it."
Bum bum.
And that's the kickoff for season 1. The apocalypse is coming, and are they going to be able to stop it?
Right. And I think another thing we should say about number 5 is that he's still a child. Because if you're going to look up pictures of
Aidan Gallagher,
you're going to see that he's a child. Well, he's a little bit older
Teenage.
now than when they filmed this first season.
Yeah.
But anyways,
there are 3 other characters I think are important to be mentioned. There is Leonard Peabody, I believe his name is, played by John Magaro. That's Vanya's love interest.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the antithesis of the family. The family tells Vanya, Ellen Page's character, to do one thing, and he's like, "No, you should do it. You should do this. Focus on you." He seems to be a very good emotional center for her.
Right. He's framed as a positive influence for her from this destructive family.
Yeah, it's a very good pivotal area for the story to go on. And the other 2 characters I think are important to mention are 2 of my other favorite characters, Hazel and Cha-Cha.
It's a great dynamic, isn't it?
Yeah, they're beautiful. They're buddy cops.
Yeah. Buddy cops.
I don't know what they actually are. They're like assassins.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Assassins from the future.
Yeah, and they are tasked with stopping number 5 from whatever he's doing.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
And the route they go to stop number 5 is the most enjoyable journey in the entire movie, I think.
Yes. For one thing, they were not expecting the extra complication of his superhero siblings.
Right.
So
I gotta say they're not a huge part in at least in the first volume. I don't really remember their characters too much in the first volume of the comic books. I'll say, actually, bouncing off that, I prefer the show more than the comics.
Well, I haven't read, so I can't say.
Yeah, and again, I haven't read the whole story either. I've only read, the volume 1 that I borrowed that I have to get back. But it's what that volume sets up is great. I see all those aspects in the TV show. It's a very good comic book, very good graphic novel tale.
Right.
I think this TV show takes all of that and builds so much on top of it that it makes it so much better. Their character dynamics are just like beautiful. Mm-hmm. Just the relationship with the family in general is better in the show than in the book. But then again, with comics, you're kind of forced to tell a story really quickly.
Right.
It's all visual. You can only tell the visual stuff really, so you have to make it all really happen fast.
And also, each issue has to feel like it has a beginning, middle, and end, yet lead into the next issue.
Exactly, and you're only given like 20 pages, so you gotta tell a really quick story. So over the course of like 7 issues of volume 1, you have, I don't remember how many episodes of season 1. I think it was like 8. Where they have like an hour per episode.
Right. Yeah. Netflix definitely gave the episodes plenty of time.
Yeah. And again, just as, with every single Netflix show, they nail the hook. Your movie ends with a hook to get you to binge watch the next episode. Right. Which that works so well for everybody but me. I'm okay with cliffhangers. I've read Stephen King since I was 10.
We didn't mention that. Sorry, we didn't mention that Cha-Cha and Hazel are played by Mary J. Blige and Cameron Britton. Yes, Mary J. Blige being Cha-Cha and Britton being Hazel. Yes, which I did enjoy both of their performances quite a bit, but I gotta say I really fell in love with Hazel, man. Yeah, I do too. He has that grounding quality of just falling in love with somebody, right? Because they're both wild, murderous characters, right? But he loves this little old lady at this diner where he gets his donuts. I say little old; she's only like in her 40s, so she's not old at all. Yeah, I think Sheila McCarthy's a bit older than that, who plays Agnes. But she works this donut shop, and she is adorable. Just them falling in love together is adorable. Like, it's a cute little romance. Like, I mean, they don't fall in love, but it's like, it's one of those, like, all they do is they just sit there and talk to each other, and eventually they just take that step, like, let's see where this can go. Yeah. I love it. We're not going to say where it goes. Yeah, but they took the step to see where it took this step. Yeah, and Agnes had been in that shop for so many years, just being a dreamer and not pursuing her dreams. And also, I would say that Cha-Cha and Hazel have the best scene in the entire first season, where they do drugs, and that's all I'll say is they do drugs. Yeah, that's just such a great scene. Freaking good. Oh man, I 2 months away, and I still remember it. Man, I feel like that there's so many characters in this show, worthwhile characters in this show too, that it's kind of hard to talk about much anything else than them. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a great story.
Yeah.
It keeps you entertained throughout. Like, I'm not a binge watcher. I mean, I watched this with somebody, so that's why I was able to get through this show. But I feel like on my own, I would have been able to watch it over the course of 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Right. I mean, especially this first season, you want to know what happens, especially with the time limit on it.
Yeah, because there are so many characters, it jumps around between them a lot. It's like, right. I mean, every show has that. Game of Thrones has a huge cast, and it's a common thing of television. But the way they jump around and the way they keep each character's story intriguing, is great.
Even in the moments that feel like they're a mundane part of this person's life, they're very important to the story and very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't even know what else to talk about that, wouldn't really be giving away the plot. But
when it comes to television, I'm not as in love with television as I am in movies. So I'm not well versed in television. It's very easy to impress me. And it's just like, one of my favorite shows is Lost, and like I don't even like the ending to Lost, but I love that show. And it's like that and Fringe, and but basically the easiest way to say it is my favorite television show of all time is Doctor Who, which is a very dry British television show, and I've watched all 2,000 episodes or whatever. It's not 2,000, but it's easy to entertain me, and this show Umbrella Academy is,
I would say,
I'm not setting it up well.
Me.
It is impressive. Yeah,
I would say it impressed me. It's not the first TV show to do a gritty superhero team, by any means. But now that I say that, I might have put my foot in my mouth. I don't actually remember something that came before this. I don't know if the boys.
Well, I'm sure
first or not.
I feel like the boys did, but also like it's an X-Men style. X-Men. You don't have your your beautiful, your class A superheroes. You have the mutants. The people who are you're shunned by society, kind of forced together.
Yeah, it is. I would say
that's the closest.
By that.
Yeah, that's the closest this story kind of gets. Is you have that gritty.
They're kind
of shunned by society still too, because of. You get the feeling that even though they were like a vigilante family, society didn't really care.
No. And like there's a couple of people who are still like residual fans of back in the day when they were on lunch boxes and and they had a fan club and stuff like that, but all that has gone away. And now they're like, we don't want you interfering with our legal processes. You're using your abilities to get farther in life, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they all had to find different avenues than being superheroes.
Right. I'll say except for Diego. He keeps on trying to be a superhero.
Yeah, he does still be vigilante stuff.
He gets in trouble with the police a couple of times. He thinks he's Batman.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of
he kind of is Batman.
He's nowhere near as smart.
Yes, exactly. He's not, and he's not nearly as clever either. But he thinks he is.
Yeah, he definitely does.
Yeah,
but it's definitely a unique story. Well told over the course of a season.
Yeah.
Again, great character development and good directing throughout. Like, it's a fun, well told visual tale. I think
like I said earlier, if you're a superhero fan, do not miss this one.
And even if you're just a My Chemical Romance fan.
Yeah, that's a good reason to watch it. Good enough reason to watch it. And even if you're not a superhero fan, I know some people aren't superhero fans because they're like, why do I want to watch this same story over and over again, because
Yeah.
it really is. It's just melodrama, but this definitely has some fresh elements and takes on what it is to be a person with special abilities.
Hmm.
So I would say don't miss it. Don't skip over it. Even if you're not a superhero fan, you should check it out.
And if none of that is exciting for you, I mean, Ellen Page.
Yeah, she's great.
She's such a beautiful person.
Yeah.
Just watch it for her.
Yeah. And oh yeah, and Robert Sheehan. He
Yeah,
did
him
great.
too. Klaus is amazing. Watch
yeah.
it. Watch it for Ellen Page and stay for Robert Sheehan.
There you go. There you go. And really, we said earlier, entire class, the cast, top notch. There's a couple moments with a couple of them that are hit or miss, but all in all, they all have great acting moments, and I really enjoy this show, and I've watched it twice. So
and I've watched it once.
If you're gonna get me to watch it a second time, I think that it has some merit.
That's good. Yeah,
I think
that's fair to say.
There's probably
I feel like
there's only a handful of things that's true for. One of them is Lost, like you said, and I also am not a huge fan of the ending.
So it's definitely worth your watch. And we'll be back in like two months when I finish the next 7 episodes of the show that we're currently watching. I'm closer than that, actually. I think I'm only 5 episodes away now.
That's good. That's good.
So month and a half, we'll have another, chill, low energy TED Talks, TV Talks. Sorry,
TV
TED
Talks. Yeah,
TV
okay.
Talks.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk, man.
Okay for coming, guys.
Well, I've been the Faceless Leo.
And I'm the Green Traveler.
Safe travels, everybody. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of FictionWorks 19. We plan to publish new episodes of this podcast every Thursday evening. If you'd like to give us a comment, please visit us at facebook.com/greenandfaceless. There you'll find many links to our show and to our website. Thanks for listening.